So this is my friend Hilary. Those who watched him on my channel, those who knew of him or knew he was a very good guy. He has successfully relocated from Ghana to the US to work as a medical laboratory personnel. He was doing so well. He visited Ghana one time and lost his life in a car accident, leaving his wife and his 2 children. This is Solomon Billa. Solomon Billa lost his life on his way to work. He had successfully relocated to the UK from Ghana as a mental health professional and was doing so well. So well so that even when he died, the facility or the organization he was working for, they named one of their buildings after him, something like that. Solomon was very generous. He was known for donating quite often to an orphanage back in Ghana. Solomon lost his life suddenly one time on his way to work. Now, last week I made mention of Samuel. Samuel was found dead in his apartment here in Essex, here in the UK. He relocated to the UK from Ghana to work as a nurse, and just a little over a year later, he was found dead in his room. There's a lady in Leeds who was also found dead. She had actually gone back to Nigeria to have a traditional marriage a few weeks prior to the death, and she was also found dead in her apartment here in the UK. She was a Nigerian nurse working in the UK. This lady you see on the screen here, she was at my 30th birthday party, and I know I shared videos of my 30th birthday party. If you watch that video again, you're probably going to see her face. She was also found dead in her apartment here in Northern Ireland. She has relocated from Africa as well. So there's been sudden deaths among migrant health professionals in the UK and migrants in general. Okay, we've seen men and women in their 20s, 30s, 40s, leaving behind their spouses, their children, their family, very sadly. Actually, after, filming Samuel's video with Abel and Amponsa, I've been touched to do this video. There are a few things that as migrants we have to be aware of. In today's video, I'm going to share practical steps that we can all take to protect our families and ourselves. I think there are about 6 of them. Guys, listen, okay? Some of the people that I mentioned, they died suddenly, and some of them died in their sleep. Some of them were found dead in their rooms. And some of these people, for all we know, they died due to illness or certain health conditions that they themselves did not even know they had. Guys, please don't wait till you feel sick. Let me tell you a story, a recent story. Okay, I did a video about a nurse in the UK who was awarded quite a huge sum of money from her trust because she sued the trust because she had a stroke or something with her brain, and then the trust refused to make accommodations for her based on her current health status, right? And apparently they were supposed to. So later on, could not work anymore, blah, blah, blah. I did the video, I will link it here. When I did the video, somebody reached out to me. Apparently this person has been watching me from before she even moved to the UK. She's from Nigeria. So she got my number some way, and then she phoned me and she said, no, I'm in a similar dilemma. Okay, so I asked her why, and then she went on and on. Later on, I met her personally. I don't have permission to show a picture. I met her personally, and then she said, so she used to feel headaches, okay? Headaches quite often. Maybe she'll take paracetamol, she'll take something, and then it will settle, right? And then sometimes it would usually come after like maybe a stress or something like that, right? So she said, oh, she didn't really think much of it, but one time she decided to, to go to her GP. I'm making the whole story short. So she went to her GP, and the GP, for a reason, decided that they have a scan. Was it a CT scan or an MRI? I'm not sure exactly which one. And they discovered that she had a brain tumor out of nowhere. She's young, she's healthy, she has little children. She's a Nigerian nurse working in the UK in Northern Ireland. Like I said, I met her personally. She had no idea these frequent headaches was as a result of a brain tumor. She never thought that far, although she's a nurse. Fast forward, she was immediately admitted and they had to do surgery. When I met her, she had finished the surgery, she had gone back to work, she was okay. I'm trying to say that sometimes there are certain illnesses that they can kill us silently, we have no idea about. Do you even check your blood pressure often? Do you check your blood sugars often? When was the last time you did like an overall health check? Do you know your kidney function, your liver? Have you checked all of that? If you're a woman, have you ever had a pap smear? Have you checked whether you have cervical cancer or you're at risk of having cervical cancer? If you're a woman, have you checked your breast for cancer? The men, black men, have you checked prostate cancer? Have you checked your cholesterol levels? Have you checked all of that? We don't. Guys, if you're watching it today, and if you're a black person living in this part of the world, do you even take your folic acid? Do you take your multivitamins? Do you do that? I'm guilty, and I know most of you are as well. Guys, let's take our health seriously. Okay, some of these people that were found dead in their rooms may have had a cardiac arrest, probably they had certain healthcare conditions that they themselves did not even know they had. A 10-minute health check can literally save your life. So guys, please do it doesn't matter if your GP is not willing to do that for you. Go private. Recently, I had a medical emergency. I went private. I think I paid, is it 45 or 70 pounds? I don't remember. I booked that morning and I was seen that afternoon, that same day, and I was checked, guys. Now, let me go talk about the second thing that I think everybody watching me should do. Now, I know that especially with where we are coming from, this is a very difficult topic to discuss. One of the greatest gifts you can leave your family, guys, should you die, is a life insurance. It's not just about the money, guys. It's just about the peace of mind, the peace of quiet. I have a friend in the US. I have never met him personally, but I call him a friend, Jason from Nurses to Riches, the YouTube channel, guys. I would link his channel on the screen. He and his wife, okay, they're both nurses, they're doing well. But they posted a reel. I'll try and find it and link that reel on Instagram. And then in the reel, they were saying that if Jason should die, the wife is going to get about $1 million or something like that. And if the wife should die as well, Jason was going to get something close to that, like $1 million plus, something like that. And I was like, wow.
Come with me to get my heart monitor. And Jason thinks I'm dying.
Before I explain why I needed a heart monitor, let me ask you guys, have you had the what happens if I die discussion with your partner yet? After we had our son, Jason and I will regularly plan out what we need to do if one of us unexpectedly passes away. As morbid as that sounds, we want to be prepared for this so that we don't leave either one a single parent in financial ruin. That's why we have a combined 2.5 million term life insurance. If you don't have one, highly recommend to give you that peace of mind knowing your kids, spouse, family won't struggle should the inevitable happen unexpectedly.
And they were saying this because I think at the moment that they filmed that particular reel, the wife got sick and they had to rush her to the hospital. It was quite urgent, right? And it was a serious something. So they were like, it got them thinking. In the US, people get such huge payouts. In the UK, it's not like that. I told you the UK is broke. You have to understand that the UK is broke. The UK, you're probably not going to get £1 million, but you're going to get something substantial, right? And like I said, it's just about the peace of mind. There are several types of life insurances that you can do. So I do a certain type. I'll talk about that one as well. And let's talk about the very popular ones. So the very popular ones that you can do. So we have the lump sum policy, okay? First of all, let me give a disclaimer. I'm not a financial consultant or accountant, guys. This is just to give you an idea. This is just research I have done, right? And things that I know personally due to life experiences. You should book to speak with an insurance broker or a financial consultant or somebody like that, you know, somebody who's well versed and does this as a job, okay? Now, we have the lump sum life insurance where we have, for that one, they have something we called level term insurance, okay? Level term insurance. So for that one, you choose like a policy term and then they're going to give the people you're leaving behind, your beneficiaries, a lump sum of money if you should die during the policy term. So let's say you decide to do that for 25 years, okay? Within the 25 years, if you should die, then they'll give your wife that amount, that lump sum of money, or your wife or your beneficiary, whoever you choose, that lump sum of money. If you live past that agreed amount, remember, is a level term insurance, okay? So let's say you do 25 years. After 25 years, you are still alive. It ends, they don't give your family any amount of money, right? And I'll explain something very soon. Somebody saying it's foolishness. No, listen, okay? So the reason why this is like that is because it is much cheaper than the other type that I'll be talking about, right? And then also, some people are just concerned about their kids, right? So let's say you have a 3-year-old and you just wonder, gosh, should anything happen to me from now till, let's say my child is like 25, where they have their own job and they're living life, it'll break my heart. So people usually consider, you know, their children who are young to do that, okay? So that the burden is not so much on the other spouse they are living behind. So that's why they do the term one. And like I said, it's cheaper than the whole life term or whole life insurance, okay? So for example, let's say you're 30 years old now and then you do 20-year level term insurance, life insurance, okay? So let's say when you're 40, you die, okay? And then you're paying, let's say, £10 every month, and the cover term that is agreed on is, let's say, £200,000, okay? And they say pay £10. It's just an example, guys. You pay £10 every month. If you should die at 40, they'll give that amount of money to your family or whoever you choose as your beneficiary. However, if you outlive, and let's let's say you die at 70, no, they're not going to pay anything. Now, instead of the lump sum, some people also choose to go for a monthly income policy. So for some people, they say, what if I give my wife all this money and then she's not able to handle it well? What if I leave my husband all this money and she's not able to handle it well? I would rather she get something every single month rather than get a lump sum of money, right? So some people also, instead of giving the beneficiaries a lump sum of money, they choose that they'll give them a monthly income or something like that. So every month the wife will get something, or the beneficiary you're leaving behind will get something to support the household and all of that. So that's also an option. It depends on you and what you think and what you believe. Now we have the whole life insurance, okay? So that one as well, it doesn't matter. It's not for a specific period of time, okay? Usually you pay much higher, okay? And then it's because it's forever, okay? It's forever. It's till you pay from now. So let's say if God is giving you 90 years on earth and you're 30 years old now, you still have 60 years to pay. So think about it. So usually that is that. And then let's say that one as well, an example is, let's say you're 30 years right now and then you do a whole life insurance, okay? And then the cover amount is, let's say, £200,000. If you die at 40, they give your beneficiaries the £200,000. If you die at 90, they give your beneficiaries the £200,000. Now the one that I am currently doing with my husband, so that one is the mortgage life insurance, okay? So that one is just for mortgage, and God bless my mortgage advisor. He insisted we do this. He would not, like, even when we said they suddenly increased the amount we have to pay every month and we were worried that how can we pay this amount every month, he still said no, and then he made us take certain bits out and then we still maintained it. So the mortgage life insurance, usually, like the name says, is for a mortgage, okay? So let's say you and your spouse, you've come to the UK, you bought a house, okay? Let's say the house is around £200,000 for an example. God forbid, should anything happen to your spouse, okay? How are they going to settle the mortgage? How are they going to, let's say you've done a 25-year mortgage and 5 years down the line you lose your spouse. How are they going to pay for it alone? Remember, now they have to pay all the house bills, take care of the children by themselves, okay? And they're still doing that same job that they were doing before your death. And you know very well that they will not be able to take care of the family and pay the mortgage. And usually when this happens, the bank takes the money because you're not able to pay it, right? So to prevent all of that, you do a mortgage life insurance. So what happens is you can decide that. But this one, it's funny because the amount the insurance company will pay reduces over time. So let's say you bought the house for 200,000, okay? And then let's say you did a deposit of 20,000. Let's say you have 180,000 pounds to pay plus interest, okay? Now, let's say your spouse dies along the line and you still have about 100,000 to pay. Based on the agreement or the policy that you go for, they can decide to either pay half of it based on the amount you agreed or pay the full amount that is left when the partner dies, so that you don't have the burden of having to, pay the mortgage yourself plus other bills that you are left with, and so that the bank does not come and take the house because now you cannot make payment. So that is a mortgage life. It's just to pay the house. They are not giving you that money. They are paying off the house for you. And what we did, and I mentioned it in several of my videos, is we added critical illness, okay? So it's not just death. God forbid, is if one of us should get, let's say, a critical illness, then you choose the type of critical illness, like say cancer, blah, 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 you want to include. The more you're including, the more you're going to pay every month. Okay, so you include all of that and then they will determine how much you have to pay, so that should that other spouse be, let's say, diagnosed with that type of cancer, based on what you agreed, are they settling the rest of the mortgage that is left to be paid, or the loan that is left to be paid, or are they settling half of it based on what you agree on? Do you understand? When we did that particular one, they asked for my permission to access my records from my GP and all of that, just so that they know that it's not like I'm dying tomorrow so that I'll come and get the money. So they are brilliant as well. They came here to do a test on my husband as well. And the reason why they came to do a test on my husband is that when we bought the house, he had just moved to the UK not long ago from Africa. See, when they hear Africa, they think you're dying tomorrow because we have so many illnesses. So before they even accepted the policy, they did a health check, or they did blood test on him to show that he was healthy before they accepted, so that they know that it's not like you're dying tomorrow, so that you come and collect the money the next week after they agree to the policy, right? So basically that's that. Some people just do death, but for us, our mortgage advisor advised us to get critical illness as well, so that God forbid, should anything happen to one of us in terms of illness, it will be covered as well. Illness where you cannot work, okay? That's very important. So some of us spend £10 every month on, let's say, a Netflix subscription that you hardly even watch, or let's say for me, once in a while I can say I want to get Starbucks. I can go and buy a big Starbucks venti cap with caramel drizzle and all of that for, let's say, £6 or something, right? But when we hear £10 a month for life insurance or £20 a month for life insurance, we go like, hey, these insurance companies are thieves. But guys, come on, let's be real. Let's be really real. Netflix won't secure your family when you're away. Coffee, Starbucks will not, but an insurance will. A life insurance will. So let's see what our priorities are. And sometimes when you even do the calculation, Okay, so let's say, and like I said, with the mortgage life insurance, when we are done paying the house, it does not exist anymore because we finished paying the house. So let's say we decide to make overpayments and pay the house within 15 years. All the money that we paid to the insurance company is done, right? So that's it. But that is how insurance works. Okay, let's say you're paying £10 every month for, let's say, the next 20 years, and something happens. If you calculate the amount that they're going to pay your beneficiaries, okay, is maybe 10 times or 50 times more than how much you actually contributed to the insurance company. Okay, so I've mentioned health checks, I've mentioned the life insurance, I've given you the examples. Now, another thing I would say, which is my 3-step that I think we should all take, is to make legal and financial preparation. Some of you watching me are just around my age, in the 30s, early 40s. You're like, I still have about 45 years to live. I still have about 50 years to live. I know the God I trust. I know the God I serve. I'm not going to die. I understand. We need to make a will. That's all I'm saying. We need to make a will. I was speaking with a friend of mine and he was like, Nanelle, you don't have a will? I'm like, no. And then he's like, I made a will when all I had was my iPhone and my clothes. I laugh. Yeah, apparently. Guys, you should make a will if you have something. I did a video a couple of months ago about people that have come to the UK from various countries and had come to acquire assets and they die suddenly, and now the UK government is taking hold of the things because they never had a will. Some people that were even living in the UK with a different name, their family members in Nigeria cannot even get proof that this is really them to come and claim. It's tough, guys. Make a will, especially if you've acquired a few things and you have some money in the bank. You listen to Nanelle, you have some investments in S&P 500, blah blah blah. Make a will. If you die without a will, the UK law is going to decide on who gets your money, guys, sadly. So apparently you can actually make a will online. When I was doing this research, I found it, and you sometimes it's even free. Sometimes you pay, let's say, £100, £150. But some people have very complicated cases. Let's say they have a wife in Ghana, they have a wife here, they have somebody they are traditionally married to, somebody they are legally married to, they have a biological mother and they have a stepmother they love more than their biological mother, children from another relationship, and then some people have very complicated lives. And if anything should happen to them, it's going to be chaotic in terms of who gets what. For such people, I think yours is not to go online to make a will. Get a professional, get a solicitor, get a law firm, and then make a will. And as you keep making a lot of things and earning some more money or acquiring some properties, more properties, you update the will. You keep updating the will. Some charities also offer free will writing. They would help you, and then it's free, guys. It's very, very important. Before you make a will, guys, let me mention a few things that you need to consider. So we have something to call an executor of your will. You have to choose the person who's going to see that all the things that you've said on your will is being followed by the law firm or the solicitor. This executor is eventually going to see the content of the will. Okay, they may not see it when you are drafting it or writing it, but eventually, should anything happen to you, they are going, I know these things are scary, but eventually, should anything happen to you, they will see it because they have to make sure that your wishes have been honored, right? You also have to consider who your beneficiaries are. You know, when I was thinking about this, I wrote down all my family members that I love so much that I would love to leave something to. Think about your spouse, your children, your parents, your friends, your siblings. You know, if you have kids, if for what, let's say below the ages of 80, you may want to choose a guardian. You can also include funeral wishes too. And I think that's also very important because I realized that some people don't really know me and my wishes. When Samuel died, right, a friend of mine phoned me, Nanaba, let me mention your name. Nanaba phoned me, we're talking about it. It's like, no, why don't you tell them to bury Samuel in the UK so that we don't need to gather a lot of money to repatriate Samuel's body to Ghana? I'm like, Nanaba, listen to me. Should anything happen to me and you influence people to bury me here, my ghost will haunt you. I told my friend that and she thought it was funny. I'm like, I am not from here. How many loved ones do I have here? But my family, my roots, I would love to be buried beside my grandma or my mom, or nobody's dying, God forbid, we're not dying, but I feel like home is a home where I was born. Why would you want to bury me in this cold, surrounded by a lot of white people? They could even be racist in the grave as well, for all we know. I think that, all jokes aside, home is a home where you should be buried. Where, imagine, like for instance, Samuel, may his soul rest in peace, his kids are back in Ghana, the wife is back home in Ghana. How would they, every year when they remember him, go to put a wreath by his tomb or whatever? Do they have to apply for a visit visa and come to the UK to put a wreath on his tomb? No. Home is home. So I think that, you know, letting them know your wishes in terms of your funeral wishes. My grandma said that she wants to have a wake keeping. When she was alive, she used to make that joke. She said, no, you You guys should have to come and pay my last respect. People should come and dance before I am put in the ground. And we did that for her. We had a wake keeping. She was laid in state. Overnight, people came in the middle of the night. I remember we said porridge and, bread for those that were keeping wake with us in the night. Yes, it was her wish. We honored it. Don't let anybody bury me here, please. Another thing that you need to have or consider is the 2 witnesses that people would have to sign. The witnesses don't necessarily have to see the contents of the will, but they also have to bear witness that, it is your will, and then they will sign. Now listen. After watching this video, let's say you want to do all what I have said, including this will. Do not call a family meeting, Auntie Bisola, Uncle Kwame, Kweku. You, when I die, I'm giving you my fridge. Don't! Please. It's a recipe for family drama, and then you're going to die early, quite early if you do that. You see, when you watch all those true crime documentaries in the US, and then you hear that children have murdered their parents, and they do investigations, and then they realize that the children were to inherit, let's say, $5 million when the parents die, and all of that. It starts from here. I don't even think your children should know what's in your will and what you're leaving them and what you have stuff somewhere. No, it should be a surprise, a pleasant surprise when you die. If you cannot keep it a secret, shut up. Another thing that I'm sure they'll tell you is that your witnesses should not, obviously they should have mental capacity, they should be 18 years old plus, and they should not be beneficiaries of the will. Imagine you told somebody that you're leaving them your house or your land or whatever, and they know very well. Don't you think low-key, when they are broke, they would want you dead? Think about it, they are human beings, okay? So they should not. The witnesses cannot be beneficiaries of the will. So you can choose me, that's... Now that we've mentioned funeral wishes, you can also actually have a burial insurance where you're paying money just for your funeral should you die, how you want it. Let's say you want a very classy funeral, like the one that Abiam did for the mother, where a helicopter was the one that brought the body, where there was a whole parade of people. Have very fancy funerals in Ghana, guys. I'll leave some of the videos. You can actually have an insurance as well for that, okay, so that your family is not burdened with burying you, and then they don't do any small 2x4 burial for you. Let's say you want a very classy one. If you should die, you want to go out in style, okay, you should have a burial insurance where you pay something every month, and then when you die, okay, they'll give your beneficiaries that amount of money to organize a befitting burial for you, okay? Now, the 5th thing I'm going to say is that stay connected, guys. Are you in a family, a church, a religious group, a social group? Do you have friends that check on you quite often? We have seen stories in the UK where people died and their bodies were discovered in their houses years later. I'll do a story on that lady. It was a very popular story at the time. I think it happened. She'd actually died during COVID, but they discovered her body maybe 2 years later. She was now skeleton and bones. And you ask yourself, does she not have family? Does she not have friends? Some people are in isolation like that. Nobody knows where they live. Do not be that. Be part of a family, a group. Sometimes these people notice things that you don't even notice. They can notice that, oh, you seem to be losing weight, or you seem to be getting darker, or what is happening. I've realized these days, be part of a group that is concerned about you, okay? A religious, for me, mine is my church. Another thing is, now that we are thinking of, preparing ourselves medically, preparing ourselves financially, preparing ourselves legally for that thing that would happen in the future, which is inevitable, there's one other way, which is my last thing that I want to say, that we also have to prepare our lives, and that is our spiritual life. I mean, if we're doing all of these things, what about where our soul or our spirits will be going should the inevitable happen? Where are you going after death? Do you even believe in God? As much as possible, let's take our spiritual lives very seriously, and as we are doing all of these things, going for the health checks, doing a will, let's pray as well, okay? Let's pray as well. If you are from where I am from, you know that certain things are not medical, certain things are not physical, certain things are spiritual. Some people can actually kill you spiritually. If you're from where I'm from, like Africa, you get me, you should take your life and then protect yourself spiritually as well. This video has been very long, but I think is the most important video you ever watch on my channel. May God help us. Thank you all for those that have contributed to the GoFundMe to repatriate Samuel's body to Ghana. Thank you very much.